What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with an update from Samson Dauda. So it hasn't even been 3 weeks since Samson Dauda competed at his last show, which was Prague. And the man is already pushing 320 pounds. Now, it's very realistic to think that at this rate, at which he is growing at the moment, he's easily gonna touch 350 pounds at the peak of his off-season. Maybe even more than that. Because previously Samson Dauda was deliberately trying not to get bigger, not to put on more size, because he was being told by everyone that he doesn't need more size, he doesn't need more muscle. Well, it turns out he does need more size, especially if he wants to be big enough to dwarf everyone on the stage, but at the same time have a level of conditioning that the judges and the fans and everyone wanna see on him. That kind of conditioning these guys were chasing for the Olympia this year. And we saw him in a damn good condition at the Olympia last year when he won. So are we about to see the biggest mass monster of this era, probably of the entire bodybuilding history? 100% yes. Because looking at Samson's training updates from today, the man is legit looking full blown and a freaky mass monster. So that's unbelievable size and thickness. And one cannot stress this enough, that you can never count out an Olympia champion based on just 1 or 2 bad showings. So Samson did what he was told by the judges. He came in dry and ripped, and that obviously did not work, did not go in their favor. Although him and his team, they probably should have applied the brake when they were about 6 weeks out, because from that point onwards, kind of seemed like that he ended up losing muscle. But now he's gonna play his own game. So the bodybuilding world should be very excited for Samson Dauda and what he has to offer. Maybe at the Olympia in 2026. And if he decides to take the full year off and have a long off season and just focus on getting the Olympia title back, that could be such a big game changer for Samson Dauda, since he hasn't taken a single season off since 2021. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. Next up, we have an update from the giant killer, Shaun. So is there a chance that Shaun is still in the prep mod and his name will appear on the official competitors list for the upcoming Japan Pro? Well, Shaun hasn't taken any breaks since he did Mexico Pro in the post-Olympia tour. He's smashing every session, which is unlike for him, especially so early during the season, when he has competed multiple times throughout this year since he also did the Arnold Ohio, and that was way back in March. But the way he showed up at this past Olympia, that shocked us all big time, because none of us even had the smallest idea that he would actually end up pushing Keone to his absolute limits. And the fact is, people out there, they had Shaun winning, especially after prejudging. So what are the odds that a veteran IFBB pro, he shows up at his all-time best at the age of 43? Because the fact is, his physique, that is showing no signs of aging or slowing down. That was the case in the past couple of years, but not this year. The fact is, he just did the Olympia, and he was 10 pounds heavier than last year. And he was in a far better condition than last year. So Shaun's physique, especially from the Olympia this year, that is a proof that John Jewett is one of the most underrated minds and underrated coaches in the industry. His work is so excellent, even in terms of his own physique. So what are the chances of Shaun winning Japan Pro if he decides to go for that? So he has won an open show before. But for him to have a shot, he has to duplicate that exact same Olympia look. He wasn't as hard and as dry at Mexico Pro, and that is one of the reasons he was top 2. The second reason, of course, is Tony Burton. But Shaun is always a wild card, and his presence in any show, that makes it more exciting.
And there's a whole timeline going on before this that caused my elbows, my bicep tendons, my shoulders, my knees even a little bit, all to be inflamed, which means they simply hurt whenever I do a movement that is going to be a little more heavier.
Next up, we have an update from Wesley, who revealed in his YouTube video that is going through a very difficult phase in his pro bodybuilding career, and that is mainly because of all these joint pains, and that too in multiple areas that he has been having recently. Now that's like the biggest nightmare for a bodybuilder, as it just totally hinders the most important aspect in terms of bodybuilding, training, and especially training hard, and thus there is no progress. Now we know Wesley took the whole year off, and that was a tough decision not to do the Olympia this year, and that was solely to put on more muscle, more mass in his lower half, so that he can create more balance between his upper and lower half, which has been the main point of criticism in regards to Wesley. So he has struggled with that progress throughout his career. But the last Olympia that he did, and also the Arnold, Ohio this year, they were both really bad showings for him. And despite having some of the best muscle bellies in the upper half, it's very easy for the judges to mark him down because of his legs, because he doesn't create that X-frame, that V-taper. So what is next for Wesley? He's gonna back off training a little bit so that his joints can heal and the inflammation that reduces. So it wasn't that long ago when Wesley showed up at his all-time best, and that was at the Arnold, Ohio last year, where he ended up beating the reigning Olympia champion, Ramondino. Now that was an awesome package presented by Wesley. So the biggest problem that some of these tall guys, like Wesley, they're facing, it's still the weight cap, where they have zero room to wiggle around, to grow, to get bigger. And that is why making progress, especially bringing up a lagging body part, that is so difficult. So what do you guys think of Wesley's future as a classic physique competitor? Next up, we have an update from Keone, the 3 times undisputed 212 Olympia champion. So that champion mentality and the discipline that Keone has, that has made him the best in this division, because the man was really struggling to nail his condition, especially in the first few years of his 212 career. But now for the past 3 years or so, the man has emerged as one of the most dominant champion. That was the case last year and the year before that too, although this year he again won with perfect score, but that wasn't even close to his 100%. But still, he won that show without any hassle. Now we do not know where the man is gonna be in about 3 or 4 years from now, but in 2026, he's staying put. He will be going for his 4th 212 Olympia title, and honestly, Keone never once said that he's thinking about making that switch permanent to the open bodybuilding. Even when he signed up for Prog Pro, he said that he wants to see how he stacks up against the big boys in the open bodybuilding. And now we all know that for him to be competitive in that open division, especially at the top level, if he wants to be a first Olympia call-out guy in the open, he still needs more size, more mass, and one cannot stress enough that chasing size at a rapid pace, that always destroys the symmetry, the aesthetics, and especially the waistline for any bodybuilder. And for Keone, his X-frame, his structure, that is what makes him such a unique bodybuilder. Now it will be interesting to see how this upcoming off-season that goes for Keone, because he was really maxed out in terms of his weight. The man weighed 211.9 pounds at the weigh-ins at the Olympia this year. So let's see what kind of changes these guys make for the Olympia next year. Also, hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.